25 Ford Explorer Active 4-wheel drive, $46,588. 25 Ford F-150 4x4 Super Crew STX, $46,943. 25 Ford Bronco 4x4 4-door, $46,882. Ray Varner Ford, local you trust with deals you can count.
Happy Friday, everybody. Sure hope you have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. Minimal chances for rain. We do have some showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, but really the big story is going to be the excessive heat. Not necessarily this weekend, but more so as we get into next week. If you haven't seen any of my social media stuff or anything like that, I'm going to be talking about the wet bulb globe temperature and what that means to our bodies and more importantly to our kids as they head off to school, practices for band and football, whatnot. High pressure is the name of the game. It's anchored across the southeastern and the Appalachian region. So storms up to our north and along the northern side of that. That's where the storms will be for the most part throughout the day today, but we have a little piece of energy that's going to be pendulating through the area. And so that's going to help to spark off a few storms with some unstable air in place. So let's talk about those weather headlines. Scattered afternoon storms here throughout the day today, mainly the higher elevations. Less rain, less coverage this weekend, probably the case. More so like what we'll see today, I think, if not less. And then a heat wave with low rain chances as we get into next week. We're talking about hot weather. So let's talk about your storm energy throughout the day today. We pick up our timeline at lunchtime. We'll loop this. Notice those darker shades of yellows and some little bit of oranges in there. And it's not everywhere. It's not widespread. Notice where that location is, right? The plateau, the valley. So we can't rule out a couple of showers and thunderstorms throughout the day today. So let's pick up our timeline, 5 o'clock here this morning. Let's go back to that. Well, either way, we'll just show you the rainfall forecast because this is the story that we're going to see some afternoon showers and thunderstorms. And you saw that energy swinging through, and that's what's going to help to spark off some of these storms throughout the day today. Now, we've got a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and so we could see some good solid downpour. So if you are fortunate enough to get some rain showers, just know that it's going to be a big old gully washer. Temperatures this morning starting off in the 70s. By lunchtime, we're going to be in the 80s. Highs today, back into the low 90s. And that heat index value close to 100 degrees. So not much of a change from what we've been experiencing for the last 2 or 3 weeks. But let's talk about our weekend forecast. We'll take it to Saturday. Saturday, we start off in the 70s. We'll be back into the low 90s. And as we head through the afternoon, heat index values pushing close to 100 with, another chance for a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Now, when we look at our wet bulb globe temperature, notice the dark shade or the yellow area. That's anywhere from 85 to 87. So what we're talking about is we're talking about temperature, humidity, wind speed, and solar radiation. So today's not bad. I wanted to show you today because you're going to see how excessive this is going to be changing as we get into our Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday time frame of next week. So stick with me. Here's your Saturday futurecast. We start the morning off nice and clear, plenty of sunshine, great lake day, great pool day. A couple of spotty showers and thunderstorms across the mountains in the Cumberland Plateau as we head through the afternoon, as we get a little bit of energy to swing on through. But I just, again, don't think we're going to see a whole lot of rainfall. So when you add today and tomorrow's rainfall forecast, it's going to be spotty in nature, so no reason to cancel any of those outdoor plans. We're going to top out at 93 on Saturday, 94 degrees on Sunday. Sunday is going to be very similar to Saturday. When you look at the big picture weather pattern, the reason why it's only going to get hotter is because this ridge of high pressure in the upper parts of the atmosphere retrogrades, meaning it's moving its way from east to west. It's anchored over the Tennessee Valley as we get into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then shifts its way further west, allowing for a trough to try and dig its way into our area. If this trough moves on through, it will bring us, elevated rain chances and hopefully a little bit of drier and slightly cooler air. But before we get there, we're talking excessive heat. Look at your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're talking low 100s, anywhere from about 100 to 105, 106, 107 degrees is possible for a heat index value. And that's what's going to lead to the potential for some heat advisories. Not a ton of rain chances here over the next several days, 20, 30, 40% chance at best, but the best locations will be across the mountains of East Tennessee and North Carolina and the Cumberland Plateau. So locally, we're not looking at a lot of rainfall here over the next 7 days. So just anticipate that. But we are looking at quite a bit of heat. When you look at your 7-day forecast, we're talking highs in the mid to upper 90s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday time frame. That heat index value is going to be pushing anywhere from 105 to 107 or 8 degrees. But we're talking about that wet bulb globe temperature because the kids are going back to school. We've got practices, and the TSSAA takes into account what it feels like. And again, to recap, the wet bulb globe temperature takes into account temperature, humidity, wind speed, and solar radiation. All these factors on the stress it takes on our bodies. So Monday, we've got a lot of reds and some darker shades of reds showing up, and then that expands even more so on Tuesday. Should relax a little bit as we get into our Wednesday, as we'll start to track that trough. So I think Monday, Tuesday, and potentially Wednesday, we're talking practices with the kids, probably anywhere from an hour to 2 hours with a minimum of 4 breaks. These are the 2 different categories we'll be talking about as we get into our Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday time frame. So something to kind of keep in mind for you coaches and parents. If you have practices, taking care of those kids, make sure even if you aren't with the school system itself, and you're a coach for some of the younger kids for practice and whatnot, they need those extra breaks as well. So definitely pay attention to that. In the meantime, enjoy your Friday. A couple of pop-up showers and thunderstorms. A little bit better coverage today than what I think we'll see as we get into our Saturday and Sunday. Otherwise, a lot of summertime July heat.